This is Fan Formula on the 11th of March. So question 1. HRT Marussia, with only days remaining until the F1 returns, have passed their final FIA crash tests. What do you make of their delayed start to the season, and will this have an effect on 2012 and future seasons for the teams? The delayed start to the season means the cars have only, they've only just been shaken down. If there's any errors, are going to turn up in Australia, and they could be very severe. They could be nothing. HRT and Marussia, I do believe they've only run on filming days, so they've not had a proper system shakedown, which is stupid, really. On their 2012 season, they could suffer a lot of problems only having got the car ready, because the development will be 2 or 3. If you treat each test session as a race, they're going to be 2 or 3 races behind in their development, unless the cars have got a really good base to move on to 2013 with. In the future, it's not entirely sure how this will affect them, because Bernie Ecclestone's suggesting going back to customer cars. So you could see it could be under the HRT name, but it could be last year's McLaren, it could be last year's Red Bull, which I'm not entirely keen on. Formula 1 is about manufacturer. You've come into the sport to build your own car and prove you've got the biggest brains, not to ride on someone else's coattails. Question 2. With several teams completing filming days before the season begins, should this be allowed, or is it just a way for teams to get a few sneaky test laps in without being at a test session? If they collect any data, it will be only low speed, and I believe they're limited to about 100 kilometers of filming mileage allowance on show tyres. So on the one hand, it is quite literally filming. However, the car does get run a little bit longer than it would do otherwise. Whether they should be banned is a different question altogether, because if they're running them at full tilt, if they're doing full high-speed runs, then of course it's unfair. But I think what filming should be limited to a morning, maybe, or an afternoon. Not a filming day, just filming morning or filming afternoon. Everything is meticulously watched over by the FIA and Pirelli and whoever supplies the fuel. Well, that's my personal opinion on it. Question 3. 2012 is rumoured to be the last year with both Catalunya and Valencia feature in the race calendar. What is your view on this, and will this bring the end to the European Grand Prix? I'm glad that Valencia is going to be on half the time, because that place is a bloody bore. End of discussion. I always like the Circuit de Catalunya. I really like it when they're racing. I really like it on all the racing games I've got that it features on. The future of the European Grand Prix, well, Bernie Ecclestone wants to keep moving everything to the Middle East, which is fair enough, but those places haven't got the history and the passion of it all. What I would rather see, maybe, if rather than have Valencia and Catalunya, why don't we go to Jerez for the European Grand Prix? You might think this is completely stupid, but bear with me, I'll explain why we should go to Jerez. They do all the testing there, they get all the data there. So imagine how brilliant the racing could be with all the testing data they've got, how perfectly set up the cars could be. I know it's a long way away from all the other places, but they've got all the data to set the car up perfectly. They test there anyway, so it would make sense to test somewhere they race. They do the same at Barcelona at Circuit de Catalunya, so why can't Jerez hold a race? We're the only ones to sort of have a continent Grand Prix, if that makes sense. We don't want to have the European Grand Prix. We don't have a Middle East Grand Prix. We don't have an Asian Grand Prix. I guess what they could do is they could tie the European Grand Prix in with one of the other races, so they could use one of the current circuits, and you call it the British Stroke European Grand Prix, for instance. And the extra stroke bonus question: now that all the liveries have been revealed, which is your favourite and which one do you like the least? Well, as a Williams fan, I love the FW34's design. It's not quite as pretty as perhaps as things like the FW16. The HRT is surprisingly good looking, and the McLaren isn't too bad either. I'm not too keen on the Sahara Force India design, but I think that might just be exaggerated by the like things like these sharp angle of the step nose. It's the end of the fan formula, and I forgot to add before I go. I've written a Formula 1 piece for Netcars.com. I do some blogging work for them now, and it's about important teams and drivers and developments in Formula 1. It's quite a long piece. It's on my Word document. I think they might have done a couple of tweaks to it when I emailed it to them, but on the Word document it's at 13,500 and something words. So you know, it takes a while to read, and there's quite a few videos and pictures in there to appreciate, but please give it a read. I've put it in the links at the bottom, so yeah, thanks. On to the Stormspace production news. I seem to be doing at the end of all these. Apologies to Grace, or I think it's MVR Will, who might edit these if they keep downloading these and have to put up with my Stormspace ramblings. We keep putting videos out. We'll do, sort of put them out on a Friday. Last week's was a police chase video, all audio recorded by myself. I had a friend of mine drive the other car in it, and trust me, it was a bit difficult, but we got there in the end. For those of you who care at all, or not care, those who are interested, for that video there was 45 minutes of footage captured, and the video's only, what, about 5 minutes long. That was 45 minutes of video capture going, and that's a huge amount of data for for cutting. Keep your eye out. At the end of the month, we've got a midget Spartan video coming out, so a piece of midget machinima, and we've got a behind the scenes video sort of explaining how we work and how, well, you could argue we don't work, we just get to sit and play computer games when we're doing this, which it's just a perk. And my usual appeal, I need voices for Where's My Liberty. I need 2 females for voicing, whether they're any of the fan formularettes. If they want to get involved, you know, send a tweet to at cwhite90999 or at stormspaceprod, and we'll go from there. And with all the delays, I'm looking to get this out April-May time now. So you know, there's still plenty of time for recording, but I need the voices, otherwise I'm going to have to start doing helium to get the voices. Anyway, that's the end of this. I think I rambled enough. So yeah, see ya.